G'day friends, family, fellow patriots. Lord Stompy here in Adelaide, South Australia. Welcome. First of all, I apologise for any distractions you might have. I've recently attained a new kitten. He's running around the room at the moment. His name is Franco, and he's very badly behaved. Now, secondly, today's report will be very low energy. I've been quite unwell for about a week now, and due to that I went on a fast to try and detox. I'm not sure what's wrong with me. I might have been given a tainted drink. That's Franco running around now. If my unwellness continues, I'm going to do a video about possibly being given a tainted drink. But anyway, yeah, I've not eaten for 2 days and I'm unwell. Now, the reason I'm putting out a video when I don't feel like doing one is because I've got very important information for my European brothers and sisters to consider. So, judging by all the signs that I see when I look at every Western nation now, I think we are already into the period of accelerationism. And it's not been white nationalists as such that have tipped Western civilization into a period of accelerationism. I think what is happening is accelerationism is being forced upon the European people by the traitorous liberal elites. Now, what is accelerationism? Well, first of all, accelerationism is a term that was coined by white nationalists, and it was a strategy that white nationalists devised. Certain kinds of white nationalists said we should push Western countries into acceleration of our crises. We've had lots of crises brewing, and these white nationalists said, well, they should come quicker rather than further down the track. This will stop Western people being so complacent. It'll force them to collectivize and make a stand for the interests of their own people. Now, there was various voices within the white nationalist hemisphere of whether or not this was a good strategy. Well, it doesn't matter whether this is a good strategy or not. It's been forced on our people. The immigration, it's the unrelenting immigration of the last few generations here in the West. It's actually being turned up in every Western land. Even in America, Trump's made some token efforts to deport some of the more criminal Latinos, but at the same time, he's talking about importing millions of Pajeets. So this is typical Trump double standard, or it's typical Trump 4D chess. All the people that always said, oh, Trump's the master of 4D chess. Well, in some ways he kind of is, but he's not on our side. So, yeah, he's cut off the Latino immigration. He's making a strong stand there, but then he's openly saying that they're going to replace more and more American workers with, Pajeets. Pajeets will work for a lot less money, they'll work longer hours, and they'll have zero loyalty to European people, but they'll have a lot of loyalty to the liberal technocratic state that imported them in. Now, the liberal technocratic state is the enemy of white people. That's been obvious to all of us for a long time now. So when you import all these Kalergi imports to replace white people, the Kalergi imports are going to be more loyal to the people signing their paychecks, to the people giving them, what's the word, all this benevolence, all this fake benevolence. Right, this is how liberalism works. It's a benevolent nanny state to those who it wishes to suck up to. Essentially, that's it in a nutshell. Up until now, the benevolent nanny state has wanted to suck up to Indigenous people and black people and these people and those people. But that always changes whenever the nanny state feels like it. So Trump, as well, America, Australia, many European lands now are having a Pajit invasion. This is being totally facilitated by the technocrats, the Jewish technocrats who run our nanny state, and this is it. You have this sick nanny state ideology where the nanny state will promote and celebrate all the wonderful things about a certain culture, and whatever culture is the flavour of the year. With the nanny state, they'll promote it and say, oh, we love your culture, you guys are welcome in. I mean, here in my hometown of Adelaide, all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, and this has never happened before, we're celebrating all these Pajit festivals as an official celebration. Diwali, I don't know, all these weirdo pagan celebrations, right? So this has never happened before. So when the government is spending our hard-earned tax dollars on promoting these foreign festivals, that just means the nanny state is using our money to suck up to these immigrants. So all of this is part of the accelerationist program that the elites have kicked into play, and there's a reason for this. The reason is, the main reason, there's a few reasons. First of all, the liberal nanny state always wanted to replace us. They always wanted white people to become a minority in every Western country. There's no debating that. But there's a reason the nanny state uses our resources and our taxpayer money to suck up to whichever minorities they want to suck up to. And that is, the nanny state has to ingratiate itself to these people, because these people are the next wave of useful idiots in the destruction of white people. Okay, and our culture and our conditions and everything we've worked hard for, everything our ancestors worked hard for, right, that has to be destroyed. It's not just us as a people, our culture, our civilization, everything. It has to be taken care of. Now, what's actually going on is, in the last 10 years, we've seen the steady rise of a nationalistic mindset in more and more European people. And the nanny state it's incredibly effeminate. It's the people running the nanny state have an incredibly effeminate way of looking at the world, and they're incredibly effeminate people. They are bitchy, vindictive, they're vengeful, they're spiteful, and they can't run a nation through honesty, transparency, and masculine strength, strength of the will. They have to run everything with lying, deceiving, brainwashing, corruption, blackmail, and intrigue. And to keep this complex web of darkness running, and this is the web that this is the webs that run Western nations. They're complex webs of lying, deceiving, brainwashing, corruption. To keep this going, the liberal elites have to have their finger on the public pulse all the time. That's why they have so many monitoring organisations and public think tanks. All of this, it's all about just manipulating public opinion. Now, the elites absolutely know what the public opinion is at all times. It's essential to their survival. It's essential to their games of manipulation and playing with the public, like the public are their toy. So the elites have realised that basically in every Western nation that white nationalism isn't going to go away. It's a growing massive problem for them. And white people are actually getting more and more vocal. They're getting more bold. And they're also getting more desperate all at the same time. So what's happening is we've reached the elites who have their finger on the public opinion at all times. They've realised that some critical threshold with the rise of white nationalism has happened. So basically, they've given up trying to deflect and to deceive and to squash down the voice of white people and the rapid collectivization of white people. They've decided just to open the floodgates full bore and just absolutely swamp us in our own nation so that we become a minority as rapidly as possible. So this is accelerationism from the liberal elites, and it's really incumbent now that they do this as quick as possible, because they understand how democracy works. Democracy essentially is the modern democracy we have now, whether you like it or not. It's a combination of lying, brainwashing, corruption, blackmail, intrigue, all these things. And what they need is the general population to be on side with this sickly web of darkness. They need the majority of the population to be on side. So they need a compliant population who are going to say yes to all their unreasonable demands. And so that's why they're importing all these third world people from very corrupt nations. Third world people from corrupt nations will tolerate all these shitty conditions. They'll tolerate the lying, the corruption, the brainwashing. They'll tolerate their civilization falling apart, their conditions being undermined, all of that. And the reason they will is because in their home country it's even worse. So the liberal elites have decided to pull out all stops now. This is also why you're seeing all the anti-Semitism laws kicking in. You're seeing a huge amount of pushback from the elites. Now, the liberal elites, in the face of white man rising up and demanding that the affairs of his nation should be transparent and open, and that we should have a a strong will to rule over the laws and the affairs of this nation, a strong masculine kind of leadership. Because white people are demanding this is why the effeminate ruling classes are suddenly doubling down on all their really bad policies, all the policies that we hate. And as I said, these policies have an end goal, is the total disempowerment and ultimately the eradication of white people. Now, to sum this end game up, the elites would prefer to burn every white nation to the ground rather than allow white people to regain their power. And there's an obvious reason for this. Well, firstly, if the elites start losing control of the situation, they'll lose their position of power. But the second is, if white people do actually start to get the upper hand, well, then there's going to be a new kind of Nuremberg trials. Nuremberg trials run by white nationalists, and there'll be a lot of white people wanting to know why the government totally pushed the policies of genocide of white people, and why they implemented them and why they shoved them down our throats. And that won't be pretty. And this is exactly what white people need to do. We need to actually start empowering ourselves and getting some kind of new Nuremberg trials, basically reverse Nuremberg trials, and actually finally put the people in the dock who endorse white genocide. Now, this is a tall order. Pretty much every major institution in the world now is aligned against white people and their interests. What's happening to white nations now, where within the next 20 to 40 years we're going to be a minority in every Western land? This actually even breaks the UN Code of Genocide. So the UN Code of Genocide, one of the definitions is to cause the destruction of a people in whole and part. So that's what's happening to white people. It's undeniable. All the evidence is there. The government and the elites signed all the documents for all the endless mass immigration. They signed all the documents pushing all these woke diversity agendas. So that there's really, it's an open and cut case of genocide from our perspective. We could actually prove this in a court of law that was fair. Except there's no international court, no international body, or no national bodies on our side now. If the UN was doing its job like it should, then the Gazan genocide wouldn't be happening, the white genocide wouldn't be happening, and the genocide of Christian people all over the Middle East and in Africa wouldn't be happening. Right? So, the world supreme body for looking after human rights does not give a damn. In fact, it hates us. And we have no national bodies either. So we have a very serious problem. Basically, every system and every major institution has been hijacked by basically people, bodies of people who want to see white people genocided. So there's nothing we can do. There's no higher body we can appeal to at this point in time. So we have to do this ourselves. And a lot of white people are beginning to realise this. And they're making some stand, and they're beginning to collectivise in some ways. And this has got the elites scared, because overall the elites are the enemy. They are the enemy, and they know it. and they're not looking forward to a future where white people start fighting back and start gaining more power. So this is why they've turned the throttle up on all the destructive programs they've been running in the West. And the throttle's being turned up, and we're accelerating